Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Rodney here from Green Daisy with another update this week on House Bill 1927 here in the great state of Tennessee as it relates to regulation or banning of Delta-8. I've got here in my hands a copy of the amendments that are going to be presented this afternoon at 3:30 to the Criminal Justice Committee in downtown Nashville, and I'm going to go over those a little bit with you today. Overall, we're very pleased. Those of us in this industry are very happy with the amendments that they've come back with. These all are about regulating and overseeing Delta-8 and similar THC products and not banning them as was originally intended by this bill. So thank you everyone out there who's contacted either through email or phone calls your representatives over these last several weeks, attended some of those meetings down there, supported the hemp advocates that have been there on our behalf presenting their case. I think that's truly made a huge impact on these representatives and where this bill has landed at as of today. So they'll be presenting this afternoon, and the Criminal Justice Committee will be voting on this, and then it goes to the House and Senate at the final stages, but I think this is probably going to pass. And again, all key points of regulating and overseeing Delta-8 similar THCs is kind of the premise of these amendments. So without further ado, I'm going to go through the key points on here and kind of give you an update, and I encourage you to watch, and I'll have in the description below a link to the video that you can watch live this afternoon. But I'm going to go over what they're going to cover today anyhow, a short version of it. The first part of this document has some definite legal definitions like standard, and one of the key one in there is defines hemp-derived cannabinoids. And what that's going to include in this definition as it relates to this bill is Delta-8, Delta-9, Delta-10, HHC, THCO, THCV, and THCP. So all the THCs, some non-psychoactive, others do have some psychoactivity, but they're all part of the definition in here. And that leaves out all of the, I'll call it non-psychoactive cannabinoids are excluded from that definition. So CBD, CBN, CBC, CBG, so on and so forth, not included in the definition of this as it relates to this document. So that's that. All right, so the key points of these amendments here. First of all, this bill or these amendments state that they're going to restrict the sale of all hemp-derived cannabinoids to those 21 and over. No problem at all with that. Most of us, or a lot of us in this industry, have been self-regulating to that standard already for several years since hemp's been allowed to be sold in the state of Tennessee. So this just kind of goes along with any legitimate business that has already been managing that. Couldn't agree more with that. So no qualms there whatsoever. They're going to add a additional tax of 5% to all retail sales, so a little bit different from that other bill that was going to tax at a higher rate at the wholesale level here. 5% of retail sales, so in addition to your standard state tax of 9.75 here in Williamson County, you'll have an additional 5% added to all retail sales of hemp-derived cannabinoids. Does not include the CBD only and things like that, so there's a little bit of difference there. And all of that money that's brought in through that tax is going to be used to fund the Tennessee Department of Agriculture and allow them to hire the resources necessary that they need to enforce and regulate and oversee these regulations. Go into shops and make sure that the products they're selling are legitimate, and packaged and labeled properly, that the store staff is trained properly, that they're carding and IDing individuals up there to enforce that 21 and over. Third big point is it's going to require an annual license for all retailers and manufacturers, $250 annual license for retailers like myself, $500 for hemp manufacturers, those that produce these products, and that's per annual license. One stipulation I did see in there, which was somewhat, and it's not uncommon with what we see around the country and other similar states and regulations, that those with any prior drug-related felony offenses within the last 10 years are not eligible for these licenses. So that's been put in there as well. Next point is that all products must be third-party lab tested, showing cannabinoid levels, and also that they're free of pesticides, heavy metals, all those bad things we don't want in products like this. Again, any of us that have been in the legitimate side of this business for several years now are ensured that they're using products that are all lab tested and third-party independent lab tested, not just by the company, the vendor that you're buying from, but that they've hired out a third-party independent lab that's certified and DEA certified and whatnot, And again shows all of the levels of the different cannabinoids and ensuring that they're free of pesticides, heavy metals, and so on and so forth. So again, another great regulatory effort there. Next, this one's new for us in a lot of areas. All products must be in child-resistant packaging and be properly labeled, standardized labeling, and I'll go through some of that here in a moment. A lot of the products out there today are not necessarily in child-proof, certified child-proof packaging, so some of that's going to change for sure with some of these vendors. And again, this is a really good thing to happen, and the labeling, that's been an issue for us here as well, but the inconsistency in labeling, it's kind of all over the place. Some of the larger companies have taken to some standardization, and they look exactly like what's been listed out here. So you've got to have things like the list of all the ingredients, the dosage information, both in total in the package and in the individual serving dosage, the weight of the product that's contained in the package, a scan code that the customer can use to go and look at the actual lab results of the particular product in the batch that they've got. And then there'll be several warnings, standard warnings that need to be on there. Don't operate heavy machinery, a motor vehicle. Don't use if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, so on and so forth. An expiration date, and that must be within 1 year of the lab test results. Again, ensuring that the batches that they're producing match up with current lab results. And the packaging cannot be of images, characters, symbols, etc. that appeal primarily to those under the age of 21. So what this is designed to do is to eliminate these products that are out there that look very appealing. They look very similar to certain candy categories and things like that. Television shows, characters, Marvel characters, so on and so forth, a play on different words. Anything that basically would be attractive to a child if they came across it. They want to minimize that or eliminate those type of packaging. And again, I couldn't agree more on that. Some of the stuff is really out there. And lastly, and this is an important one as well, total dosage of THC cannot exceed 25 milligrams per serving or be in the shape of an animal or cartoon character, tying into what I was just speaking about with the packaging. And 25 milligrams per serving, again, most of the companies out there today that we offer, most of their standardized dosaging is at that 20 to 25 milligrams already. There are products that have higher milligrams per gummy or per edible, but those also have guidelines on it on serving sizes. So for example, a 50 milligram gummy or a cookie or something along those lines may be listed on the packaging as 2 to 3 or even 4 servings. So everything will have to be maintained within that 25 milligram parameter per serving. And again, no issue with that. That seems to be a pretty good sweet spot for most folks in terms of the dosage they need to address certain health conditions and ailments and whatnot, and health and wellness. So overall, those are all the key points from the amendments. I look forward to hearing what the committee has to offer this afternoon in regards to going through these. And I look forward to providing you probably one more final update on where this goes after today's meeting, or next week maybe on 420. Give you an update on the final status of this and where things will go from here and how these will be implemented. So thanks for your time again, and I appreciate again everyone who has continued to call and contact their representatives and help us fight this fight against banning Delta-8. It looks like that has made a huge difference, and again, we certainly appreciate that and look forward to your support in the future for these efforts. Have a great day, folks. Thank you.